Hey everyone, in this period of forced stay at home because of the coronavirus spread, to protect ourselves and each other, our communities, I thought to start a new series of videos about shooting at home. So we're gonna use everyday objects and things that we can find in everyone's home and play with them to do very cool and interesting shots. So please follow along with your camera or smartphone. It's gonna be enough to have fun together. Today we're gonna be shooting with the 90mm macro lens from Sony and the new Sony a7R4. The only thing we're gonna need today is this. It's this and this. So just make sure that your CD or DVD-ROM is clean, and let's start to spray some water. All these small droplets becomes a fantastic macro subject. When shooting with macro lenses, every small vibration on the camera becomes a big vibration. But to avoid vibration, I can show you a trick. So we put self-timer to 2 seconds. Doing this between our pressing the button and taking the photo, there are the 2 seconds that allow the system, camera and tripod to stabilize themselves. What I want to do now is add some light on the sides to make the drops looks much nicer, and also play with the colors of the reflections. And now I'm gonna start playing with the light to try to get different effects with the reflection on the CD. You see how cool we get there, a rainbow? Oh, from the top I really like, look, the reflection of the LEDs in the middle of the droplets. So we can do a lot still with smartphones as well. Just make sure that we are getting big droplets. They're gonna be more clear in our photo. You see what we can do. So here, look what we got. Then we can crop a bit the photo, something like this, and we were able to get this even with a normal smartphone. So we took enough photos with the camera, also with the phone. We managed to get some nice one. I hope you too. And now let's move to the computer to post-process them. For the post-processing, I'm gonna use Luminar 4. I already imported my images and pre-selected the ones that I'm gonna use for this demonstration. I wanted to start showing you these 2 photos. This one has been shot at f2.8, so the maximum aperture of the macro lens we used, while this one was shot at f10. We can see a big difference in the depth of field. Means here we can see only like a tiny stripe of sharp drops on the CD, while here we have a much wider depth of field. I'm gonna focus first on this one, and I go to the edit menu in the Luminar. The first time we open the photo in the edit menu, the software is going to take some seconds to load the image. That's because it's actually analyzing the photo to understand with the artificial intelligence how to help us to do the post-processing. Here on the right we have 4 sections. I'm going to start in the essentials, and here we have artificial intelligence enhance. When we move the slider here, the software will automatically try to get the photo post-processed to make it like better in terms of contrast, saturation, sharpness, and it's done all automatically. This is not working 100% of the time, but it's a very good start. So we can use it just quick at the beginning of the post-processing, just to quickly try if it's getting it right for the photo. In this case, it is perfectly. So like before, after, what it did, it opened up the shadows here on the right part of the image, and pushed also saturation and contrast. If we are not happy with the result, in this case we're going to try to open up a bit more the shadows and play a bit more with the details. So I'm going to open up here the light section and push a bit the exposure, and push a bit also the contrast. And we can see before and after the image is getting better. And for the details, I'm gonna zoom at 100%, like here, and I'm gonna push a bit AI structure and a bit the boost here, and this is gonna help to bring out the details. In this case, like AI structure works very well when we have like rocks, metal, material with a lot of texture. In this case, it was working very well also with the drops. And then to increase the details even more, I'm gonna use the detail enhancer and work on the small details. So before, after, you see how much sharper these drops got. So before, after every step of the processing, that's what we get. I'm gonna go to show you, still processing, to reapply what we did. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you what I would do if this image would be like meant for Instagram. We need to cut the image in 4x5 for the portrait orientation. That is the best one in Instagram. And then we crop something like this. And I really like this composition. We have this drop here, autofocus, but it's a very nice and like foreground. It's not so visible, but it helps to bring in the viewer. This is our middle ground and this is our background. So we'll apply this crop, and at the end I'm gonna go for a bit of vignette to bring the attention to the center of the image. Now if you do before and after, that's like my quick post-processing for this image. I wanted to show you with this photo that has quite cool colors what happens if we play with the temperature and the tint. So for example, here is yellow, and look what happens when we change the temperature. We change the way the colors on the camera are interpreted. So this is a way to change colors, but there's also another way. We can go to colors here, advanced settings, and pick color by color. For example, let's say this green yellow color here. We can change the hue, that is the tonality of that color, so we can fine tune it. So if you don't like that green, we can make it a bit more towards the red tone. We can change the saturation specifically for that color, and we can change the luminance. That's the quantity of light in that color. So this is a way we can fine tune our post-processing. For example, let's say that this magenta here is very cool. We want to push it. We can select that color and then push like the luminance. Look how more catchy for our eyes it is. And we can also increase the saturation, so how much intense the color is. And I can show you now before, after, what we did with this photo. So in this case, I'm gonna put back the original hue to have a photo where the magenta is more like catching than before, because having like this kind of reddish here is interfering, in my opinion, with this color here. So we'll put it to 0. And this can be our final photo. What we can do now, I'm gonna click here on top and show the looks panel. These are presets that we can save ourselves. So I'm gonna save this one, like drops one, gonna be saved here. And now I'm gonna go to the next photo, and then I'm gonna go for the drops one preset. So let's see what happens. Okay. So in this case, the color tonality that he went for and the details are a bit too strong for my taste. So we can, you see here on the right side, now all the tools that have been applied are in white color while the rest is gray. So we could just go in and fine tune. For example, I will try to reduce this, the power of the AI accent, and actually it's much better. So we can go in and tweak the different filters for every image after applying our presets. I hope you find it interesting, and it's something easy and cool that we can do at home to play and learn something new around photography. And I also wanted to show you a bit of post-processing. Luminar 4 is part of my workflow and is something that I teach in my regular photography courses. And like for landscape, there's a ton of more features that we can use. Just show you a subset, but it's very important that you play with it, so you see how you can implement your vision and also like implement your artistic choices. So photography and post-processing is all about how you see photography, and if you want a photo more cold, more warm, more contrasty or less, is your vision, and that's a tool that can allow you to get that very easily and fast. So stay healthy, take care, and see you next time.